Good morning, guys. My body's quite fine. There's some small cuts on my back and my neck, but it's mostly just my head. And my hearing's gone in my right ear. I know what I will do, but I don't know when I'll do it. I will be going back to the front, and I will continue with the evacuation work. But when I go will be when I'm ready, when I know I'm capable and I'm an asset to everybody. And if that takes 2 weeks, that takes 2 weeks. You know, I always film with the camera in my chest rig. You know, I don't have a GoPro, it's just an iPhone, and I get what I get. And some people say I have the best content, but I've only ever done that for one reason. And it's paid for everything. The vehicles, the food, yeah. Nobody who's ever with me goes hungry. Thank you. But now I need to take care of myself. And sometimes I really can't be bothered responding to people writing me. When I hit the mines, I've looked back on that film and that doesn't bother me. But the events before is what bothers me. We went over to the Russian side. I've done, maybe not to the Russian side, but I've done what we call the suicide runs a few times. I'm very disappointed in myself. We were leaving. I had 4 children, a mother, a father, a babushka, and then another babushka and dedushka, grandfather, grandmother. They came, and we were hid behind a building. I had parked up but out of the vehicle, and it was coming down hard and close. But Philip discovered 13 more people. We couldn't drive there because of the craters in the road. And I waited, and it was very fast, because I'm the English speaker, I'm the last to know. They said, go, get them out and come back. But I didn't. I waited with those people on the premise. I told myself, I'll wait for more people. We have 2 vehicles, we'll get them all in one go. I didn't want to go through the minefield alone. And I put those children's life at risk. Maybe someone else wouldn't. Maybe they're a braver person than me. I didn't want to go through the minefield alone, but I was scared under completely myself that I wouldn't come back. And every time I've had to do similar things to that, to run out and get back, and I've always done it. But every time I'm scared I won't come back, but I do. But I was just paralyzed. But Victor came back and said Philip was waiting in a building under heavy barrage with 13 people. And I followed him out of the field. I had the kids in the rear vehicle, and we got out and we went back. And on the way back in, once we left the Ukrainian side, in the gray zone, I hit at least 2, possibly 3 mines. And my head's a mess. You know, I never wore the Ukrainian flag. I don't like when foreigners wear it. I don't like when people take patches. My fucking German friends, oh, can I have your patch? It's not yours, and yours is not mine. I never understood that, collecting people's patches. You didn't earn it, it's not yours. I never wore the Ukrainian flag. I don't remember who, but the army pulled me out. And somewhere along the line, one of the boys, he ripped it off, and he put it on my shoulder. And I didn't lose an arm, I didn't lose a leg. I'd blown up in a minefield. But I went as far as anybody could ever go. Certainly on the foreign side, there's heroes here. I'm not one of them, but I've gone as far as anyone, and I'll always wear it now. But in my chest armor, I got mossa. And I give these pictures when I'm driving out to the little kids in the back, Sabachka, and they seem to really like it. And she's always in there with me, and I think she kept me safe. With the help of people like the Mozart Group and Steve, who just came out of nowhere to help us. Consummate professionals from the operator world. When Swampy brought his team, it was very apparent to me how burnt out I'd become, especially when Swampy and his crew came, because they work in the rear. No disrespect to them. They have skills, he has knowledge, far beyond what I will probably ever have. But they were fresh. And he's probably a better man than me. His knowledge of the Russian trickery, and the mines and explosives they use, and I don't have that. But I was very grateful for their help. I wish they had stayed. But they had to go back to their job. I'm gonna go back when I can, and I'm gonna help until the end. And I'm already accepting help from people here to help with my logistical goals in Germany. And I'm hoping people like Swampy and Rugi and the other people like Task Force 31 and Dark Horse, some of them have reached out, but I hope when there's time, I'd like to go take some of their training too here, because they're highly skilled, highly qualified, consummate professionals. And they've supported me and they've cared for me here. And I work at the spearhead, but there's just so much knowledge I don't have, and I could help more here. I gave away half of my med kit. I've lost my med kit. Army guys got it out. I asked for them to, but it's with the infantry guys. It's best it's there. But I gave away my tourniquets. I taught the march protocol as best I could to civilians, to people who refused to leave. I showed them how to tie a tourniquet, how to clean and plug a wound with hemostatic gauze. I showed them what they need to know when the Russians are coming. And so many people we try to negotiate with to come who won't come. And an hour before we went on that last job, I promised an old woman through Google Translate that I said, I'm going to Knopf, and if I come back, even if you don't want to leave, I'm going to come see you and give you a hug and kiss. Because the whole family was down there, her granddaughters were there, and they're going to get raped. They're going to get raped when the Russians come. So that really hurts. That's what hurt. I tried to sneak out of the hospital yesterday. I didn't make it to the gate. I shot myself. Like I'm not well. That's the truth. But I don't know. I could have done better, but at the same time, I'm not Superman. I'll accept no judgment from anyone who wasn't there. There. You don't have to make those choices with children, and especially right before I started social media, and I was on the Zaporizhia front. With Edouard, I learned many things working in a month in a hospital, in a surgery, and then to the front. There was one day, I stacked over 20 bodies. Just that one day, we had 65 300s, that's critically wounded, amputations. It never bothered me. Men from 18 to 50. I dealt with it and I conducted myself well. The stuff I've seen in the past few weeks, and I didn't seek it, it found me. I did very well. But there's women and children there, and it takes on a whole new meaning. And the stakes are so high. I wouldn't wish this upon anybody. But that last day was one of the hardest, and we pushed it further and further than we ever pushed it. But it was later and later. Me and Victor, on that first run out, from across the bridge on the Russian side, we got 8-9 people, and I don't understand everything how they did it, but they managed to get 13 more after I got blown up. So it's worth an ear, it's worth an arm, it's worth my life. It's a good trade, and the maths add up. That's just simple. One life, two of ours for my math's not so good right now. What, 21 people? Yeah, I'd do it again, any day. It was worth it. And the kids, I remember putting my helmet on one of them, even though we had to leave their dogs behind. They were ready to go. We were just waiting on that one side of the building, and the Russians were on the top of the hill crest and the good positions, and I said, we're not gonna run, we're gonna walk. And we held out there and we got them out. But yeah, I've got a lot of things to process up here. And it's like I'm in a drunken state. I don't know if it's the drugs or the concussion, which is, but all the wounded guys here, they come from as far north as Siversk, down south to the demarcation line in Bakhmut, Fedorivka, like all these areas, and I'm hearing their stories of what happened, and those are the true heroes, the infantry guys who stay on that line every day. But at the same time, they don't have to make the choice that we do. No, I don't know what's better or worse, but every time I was always scared that I wouldn't go back in, because you can't force a horse to drink water. But every time I did it, and that one time, no one could ever judge me. But that's the truth. I didn't go out with them on my own through the minefield because I was scared. I was scared that I wouldn't come back. I don't know how many people in the world could do that. I did it. Just gonna stay at the hospital and get better and try to sneak out. People have still been donating, so the generator can go ahead. Our work can go ahead. I did get out yesterday for a little bit, and I was able to buy some new clothes, which is nice. New underwear, new socks, and they've washed my kit from what happened. But I really feel like part of now. I feel like I've earned my place. I've traveled the whole world. I got a funny accent. I left home as young as I could. Probably Britain I feel closest to, but I kind of feel like I earned this. I'm just so proud that, yeah, I wish the world wouldn't forget about Ukraine and the news cycle wasn't the way it was. Because it's bad here. And those boys who were here with me, some of them, do you know, I've heard the word more than once. They used to describe it. Armageddon. I think I stopped there.